for attending today's ER Studio webinar, The Dark Side of Embedded JSON. It's a new feature that we're adding to Data Architect, the Data Architect 20.9, which is a major part of our ER Studio Enterprise offering. And again, I'm Tim, and I'll be your host today. I'm joined by a couple of my colleagues. Call your attention to the GoToWebinar dialogue or panel that you should have after joining. There is a questions box on there that you can type questions in if you have questions about what I'm presenting or general questions. You can always type them in there, and one of my colleagues, either William or Angela, is with us today. They'll be answering those as we go along. We may have some time at the end to answer any unanswered questions. So let's dig in and have some fun with this. First off, what we're going to cover, we're going to do a little bit on what is the ER Studio. It's always good to have that kind of refresher of so we have a common framework as I continue on and describe things to you. What enterprise data modeling is and how all this new JSON capabilities will fit into an enterprise data program. Embedded JSON, the risks, I'll be demoing this, showcasing it in a reverse engineering process, kind of a before and after the change, so you can really get an idea of the risks that may have been maybe lurking in your databases, some of your schemas right now. Have some conclusions and key takeaways, a QA session. Again, feel free to use that questions panel, and we'll answer questions. So my colleagues will answer questions as we go along here. So first, what is ER Studio? I'm not going to read the whole slide to you, but it is really the foundational solution for an enterprise data program. It lets you do all those processes and capabilities associated with canonical data modeling, conceptual, logical, and physical. We have the team collaboration and portal that's an unlimited use license, and it's all backed by what we call the team server repository, which becomes your central source of truth for your repository and metadata objects. You could do data lineage, visual data lineage to show your extract, transform, and load processes and document those. And obviously we have just a wide variety, just a legion of different platforms we support that you can work with, and both forward, reverse, and produce alter SQL for, including platforms such as Snowflake, Oracle, Google BigQuery, Databricks, even JSON. So that's ER Studio. It really kind of breaks down into three functional areas. Again, you have Data Architect. That's pretty much licensed by seat. It's where your modelers and architects are going to do those functions associated with canonical data modeling. With the ER Studio Enterprise, we also have the addition of the team server repository, as I mentioned, that provides that central source of truth, or single source of truth for your metadata objects, and provides model sharing, model versioning, all vis-a-vis a check-in, check-out process. And because that's a live database, the modelers and architects are busy updating and defining and describing, those objects then could be read from our ER Studio web portal, which is a team server core. And this is another fundamental part of the ER Studio Enterprise offering. And it is an unlimited use license where really any other role that may not have Data Architect installed on their desktop can get into the system and work with and collaborate on those great metadata objects that the data modelers and architects have been busy documenting, defining, and describing. And the other thing it does from the team server core level is through purpose-built integration. We have integrations to leading data catalog, data governance applications such as Calibra and Purview. So it all comes together to form really the backbone of an enterprise data program with a best-in-breed data modeling and enterprise metadata management applications in your ER Studio Enterprise with best of breed data catalog, data governance applications like Calibra and Purview, and we have other ones on the roadmap as well. With enterprise modeling, really, for me, and what's all too common these days is this idea of creating knowledge from existing assets. And that's what we're going to be doing with the embedded JSON today as we get into it. Really, the idea is to point data architect at a data source, be it a database schema or a JSON file, get that physical model, that logical model in. Of course, modelers are going to do that iterative process of fleshing out that logical model using features such as naming standards, templates, and other data dictionary items. We had a great lab just last month that our colleague John gave on the data dictionary. So we have that available on our resource center at erstudio.com. So I invite you to go to the resource center and look at the videos we have there, including that one about the data dictionary. It was very, very informational. And of course, as you flesh out that logical model, tying it up into your data governance terms within a taxonomy here, within a glossary, it's that idea of creating that knowledge. What does this data source mean to us? What is its importance? Are there any risks, compliance or regulatory exposures we may have in that schema? The importance, the data security importance, the importance of data security, I should say, can't be understated these days. And this embedded JSON is going to highlight really just a gap that could be there in your environments. The enterprise model, really looking at this, I'll go through this quickly for us. Hit the next slide. The idea of the enterprise logical model as being your master template, that hub for all your different projects, and helping to ensure that consistency of those definitions, that a customer is a customer, is a client, it's all tied up into your ELDM, your enterprise logical data model as customer, as your master template to ensure consistency of documentation, definition, and description across all your projects. And indeed, if you're using it for an enterprise data warehouse, across all your layers. Don't forget, we recently added in Herbert, our little AI bot. We have an AI model builder that's available now in the tool to help you get started and not have to start from scratch creating data models. So that's available now for you as well. All of this indicates that ER Studio and Idera is putting just tremendous amounts of development and time into keeping the product living, breathing, and moving forward in the data engineering and enterprise data management space. All right, so obviously, as I mentioned, you could apply the same concept to ensuring the consistency across your enterprise data warehouse. I should have clicked slides earlier there and showing the medallion approach here, even with data products and their connectivity, their linkage to assets within your data program. So let's talk about really what we're here today to talk about is this new embedded JSON discovery feature we have in 20.9. So it is new. And if you have one of these platforms, and I'm not going to say this is all of the platforms, because like the Oracles and SQL servers, Postgres and Snowflake, I think a lot of the DBMSs out there today to remain competitive are going to have this concept of variants of arrays embedded in their schemas. And that could be quite a gap for compliance and regulatory issues, as we'll see. So now we do support via our Snowflake, SQL Server, Oracle, and Postgres reverse engineering process, digging into those embedded JSON, actually parsing that JSON out, and as it says here, we now inspect that data inside for the supported column types. It parses that content so you can really understand what was embedded in there. And so let's take a look, take a little journey together here. The fun part, we're going to go into the product here. Here it is, ER Studio Data Architect Enterprise Team Edition 20.9. Uh, our welcome page obviously can be turned on and off, but I always like to show it. It has great linkage to our tutorials and resources in our Studio Resource Center, so it's a great way to just have that documentation. Need to look something up, how does something work, right there at your fingertips. So what we're going to do today is take a little journey against Snowflake here. So say this was, before, maybe it's 20.8, before we put this feature in, I'm going to do a reverse engineer. And what I'm going to use is my ODBC connection to my Snowflake partner. And I hope I still have this in my, let's try it this way. I'm going to use a quick, what we call a quick launch, a quick start, and you can go through the wizards. We use wizards pretty extensively through the tool. You can save these quick starts out at the last page of the wizard, and that way, if it's something you repeat, hey, use a quick launch file for it. And so we'll go ahead and go. I'm going to hit next here. I think we've gone ahead and I could have just hit go and it would have finished that off. But I want to show this for us here today. I'm going to get this database, this ecom1. I'm going to go ahead. Maybe I'll just get public here for the owner instead of all owners. And I'll just get the user tables back today. And I'm going to go through all the standard features here and hit finish. And so this would have been what you're currently getting in 20.8. You're going to get this model back from Snowflake. And let's take a look at it. Just as modelers and architects, we're taking a look at this. But obviously, very small schema. Let's make this a little bit bigger so everybody can see, maybe 200%. So if you were sitting there as an architect or a modeler, you might look at this. Maybe this is part of a larger schema you've brought back. But hey, we got sales order information here. We got product information here, product name, description, and price, order date, a GUID for the customer. The SKU, the SKU is the foreign key, and we got some order data here. And you could do all the iterative steps here that you're probably now taking, going to your data dictionary, adding data security information here. But let's be honest, looking at this, nothing's really jumping out at you at this level. You might take the extra step to go to your diagram object display properties. Remember, these can be set for every model, submodel, either be a logical main model or logical submodel or physical main model or physical submodels. They can all be set differently. And I'm going to set and show the data type here on my entities. Maybe that'll give us a little bit more, context here. And now I'm looking at the same objects here, but I do see that order data is a variant. But hey, until 20.9, okay, it's a variant. We can take a stab at it. And the idea here is let's use the new feature in 20.9 to actually figure out what that is. So I'm going to run that reverse engineer process again. Going to go to my tools, reverse engineer button. I'm going to run that exact same reverse engineer, but I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something that that we've added to the product here. I'm going to pull up that same quick launch, so I'm not typing with you guys today. I'm going to hit next here, and I should have saved it out with public here. I'll get the same options and go through the same way, but I'm going to pause here where I went by it fast the first time. Look at this block here. That's the new bit. Reverse engineer embedded JSON structures. And with Snowflake, it's a variant, and we saw that with our data type. So I'm going to go ahead and get that variant data type. I'm going to hit next. I could apply a naming standards template if my Snowflake has to, have a naming standards associated with Snowflake or this particular domain or this geographical area. There's a lot of reasons to have different naming standards templates, and we'll be doing a lab on those. And I think they were covered in John's lab last month, actually. So I'm going to hit finish here now. We're going to get another model on this next reverse engineering path where we've chosen to actually parse out that variant. And look what we get now. And I'm going to go ahead and take this and go to hierarchical. So we still have our product. Hopefully you guys can see this. Maybe go to 200%. We still have our product and our sales number, but let's take this so you guys can really catch on. I could set that as a default. Control A, Control R. So we still have our product and our sales order here, and we had that variant on sales order. The reverse engineering process has now recognized that and drilled into that. And oh my goodness, look at what it found in that variance. We got credit card numbers, we got passwords, we got addresses, we got lions and tigers and bears here, all sorts of things that might at our first glance without this feature might have got by, right? Might not have been just recognized as really a compliance or regulatory exposure there. Obviously, now that we brought it in here, we can see that as a modeler, and now we could take the next steps with this model. We can start. I'm gonna go back to 100% here. We could take the next steps, go into our data dictionary, start using data security information, start applying PII, GDPR, PCI, those kinds of things to it. All the work you can do. In fact, I've done some of that for you. So I'm going to log into my repository and I'm going to get this model because in the interest of time and brevity here today, I wanted to go ahead and get some of this done so you don't see me adding things to a repository and that kind of stuff. And under my data catalog, if I find it, I called it product sales order, and I'm going to get that and check that out immediately. It's going to go off to my repository. Now that model's open, you can see it's a repository-based model. I have all the padlocks that shows this as a repository cognizant model. And now I've done some of the work. You can see it's the same. And then I've clearly I put this as compliance mapping at the order data entity level. I could do it all the way to the attribute level, although I can't show that on the screen. It can be annotated and documented and reported on that way. And you can see I've done some of the work to actually include this into our enterprise data program. So much so that I have the ability now, since it is repository resident, to publish that out to our ER Studio web portal. So let's take a look at this. Again, this could be a business analyst in your environment, somebody that doesn't necessarily have Data Architect installed. They can log in via SSO onto this website that runs inside your environment, either on-prem or off-prem in the cloud, however you want to provision it. But I can log in with ER Studio credentials or with SSO credentials, OpenID Connect, RSA Secure ID, Azure Enter ID, a lot of formats supported there. I'm going to come in as admin so you see everything today, and as we come into Team Server, I'm going to go ahead and go to my ER tools and take a look at that model. And here it is, product sales order. I could come in here and read all about it. There it is, published into a Team Server. And remember, yeah, you could zoom in and zoom out on these. You could print it and save the image, but gone are the days of having to kill trees to get that out on plotters or what have you. These are all live objects. I could drill into that nested object, the repository, and thus everything about it. Here's all the attributes, the relationships. I can drill into the attributes, maybe the credit card number on there. I can see if that's has a security property. There is compliance mapping on it, where it's been used. All of this is available. This is to show you that even though it's a nested JSON object that we've reverse engineered, that the system has seen that as its own specific entity order data, and you're able to link terms to it, add that in. You could even publish this over to your Purview or your Calibra. All right. So hopefully everybody's getting the gist of and the really the magic that's involved in being able to dig into that and parse that out. So while I'm still in the product, I thought I might pause to see. I don't think anybody's asked any questions, so I'm sure I'm not as perfect as all that. So I invite you guys to use that questions panel, and give you a few seconds if you want to have any questions on what you've seen or want me to drill into anything a little bit more in depth. I see my colleague William has put some information in the chat there with links to our documentation. Thank you for that, William. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions come in, folks. So we'll go back to where we once belonged in our PowerPoint. We've seen the demo now. So to wrap it up for us, we've talked about what ER Studio and our approach here with ER Studio's approach to enterprise data modeling and enterprise data programs. We've learned how to uncover these embedded JSON structures in source databases with that checkbox now on the reverse engineering. And you showed when I brought that model in from the repository how you then on those nested objects can apply your data governance, your data security properties, attachments. They become full-fledged objects the repository understands. It could be assigned terms in your governance and actually even brought over to your data catalog, data governance application like a Purview or a Calibra. So it really adds that extra ability to understand what maybe the devs or DBAs had hidden in those variants and not maybe informed data governance or the architecture team about. All right, and checking the questions. And was there a question there? I think William answered it. All right. So very quick webinar for us today because it was just showcasing that new feature in 20.9. Not seeing any other questions pop up for us here today. So I'd like to thank you for signing in with us today. Anybody that has registered will get this recording or a link to it in an email. If you'd like to have a personalized demo of this feature or any other feature on ER Studio, just scan the QR code here or talk to send an email to sales@idea.com, or if you happen to know your account exec's email, send it to them. Happy to work with you to make sure you're using ER Studio as deeply and as broadly as you possibly can at your sites.